Throughout the pandemic, hospital beds have often grown scarce as men and women struggle to find the help they desperately need. But for children in a mental health crisis, that struggle to find an available bed is nothing new. In fact, it's much worse.
Tonight, 7 investigator Ross Jones has a closer look at the epidemic unfolding during the pandemic and how one young girl in crisis was failed by a broken system.
Ellie is a sweet, smart, very artistic and creative little girl.
Ellie Jensen is 16. When she was 2, she was diagnosed with autism, and with the exception of a word here or there, she's nonverbal. To be clear, Ellie has a lot of good days, but too often, especially lately, her days can look like this.
So it starts with screaming, and I don't mean little screams, I mean horror movie, shattering glass, blood-curdling screams. And then from there, slamming her body into walls, breaks through the doors in our house. She has gone through 9 windows and a mirror. She just went through a mirror at school and gave herself 11 stitches.
And on a day in April, Ellie attacked her mom and her sister. Her parents rushed her to the ER at Children's Hospital in Detroit.
To see her buckled to her bed is a heartbreak that no parent should ever have to go through. Sorry. And it took 8 of us to hold her down, to buckle her to the bed after they had sedated her. And she was still fighting and kicking and screaming.
But the worst part was not over. It was just beginning. Because while Children's Hospital could hold Ellie, they had no psychiatric beds available to treat her. In fact, there were none available in the county, none in the Tri-County, none in the entire state.
But you can't just tell a family, we have no hope for you and no help for you.
But hospital after hospital did, from Stonecrest to Havenwick, to Hawthorne, to Pinecrest, to U of M, on and on it went. Hospitals said they were either already full or simply couldn't treat a child with Ellie's diagnoses.
To me, it's a type of discrimination. We can't help you because you have too many needs for us.
Hours became days and then weeks. Ellie spent Easter in the ER, waiting for a psychiatric bed somewhere to open up.
So she's not getting treated there.
No.
Not getting better there.
No.
She's just waiting there.
Yes. Yeah.
The wait would last 23 days before a bed in Macomb County became available.
We've been through this several times, and each time I'm still stunned that it hasn't gotten any better.
This nightmare is not new to Ellie or to us. We've documented this very problem dating back to 2015. Demand for adolescent psychiatric beds is highest during the school year, but during the summer months, beds for children often go empty, making hospitals reluctant to add beds they know will sit unused months out of the year. That's why for years, the number of licensed psychiatric beds for children in our state has always hovered in the same range. And the one state hospital for kids, it has the same number of beds today as when we did our very first story 6 years ago.
Our mental health crisis beds are frozen in time decades ago when our state has grown and our need has grown. I think is unconscionable.
State Senator Jeff Irwin says more beds alone won't solve this problem, but it can't be solved without them. Through the years, the state has convened work groups and held hearings studying why it happens, like it did in 2018, and making recommendations. 3 years later, we're still in the same place. Too many sick kids, not enough beds.
The hospital systems are not seeing enough profit in this area to go out there and build these facilities themselves in the for-profit system. On the public side, we've been cutting holes in our social safety net. People are falling through.
It should not take weeks for a child in crisis to find help, but it did. And Ellie's mom knows that unless something changes, the next time she's in crisis, it will again.
That is just so heart-wrenching to see your child struggling in pain and know that you can't do anything to help them.
Tonight, Ellie continues to receive treatment at Harbor Oaks Hospital in New Baltimore. Here at Children's Hospital, her mother, Cindy, waited by her side for much of those 23 days. She said they did the very best they could while they waited for a bed. But when Cindy returned home, she brought COVID with her. She infected the entire family and believes she picked it up here The family is now recovering at home. We're outside Children's Hospital tonight in Detroit. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
Let's hope for some type of change. All right, Ross, thank you for that live report.